Hi, my name is Jason Spanu, DJ Shine from WaveDNA. We're a Toronto-based company showing off at NAMM our new product, Liquid Rhythm. And essentially we are a trifecta of programs. We have three sort of programs under one umbrella. It's a standalone version, it's a VST instrument, so it'll live in any other DAW, and where we're the most fun is as a Max for Live interface for Ableton Live. And essentially what we can do with Ableton is become a two-way real-time clip editor. So I'm just going to dial in here and make an empty clip on a track that already has some drum sounds, okay? And very quickly, flipping over into our program, we can already see that all of my assets have been reported. I know where my kicks and snares and whatnot are. So if I select a bar, over on the right-hand side here, we've got a panel that's going to be auto-populating with suggestions relative to the actual drum I'm on. So if I go to kicks, I'll have some kick choices, right? See all those different choices. If I go to a snare track, my list changes and I'll be able to grow snares and so forth. As I dial up a little higher, I'll go to my hi-hats and I'll have some hi-hat patterns, right? So if I just zoom in on that really quickly here, we can see we're dealing with an object that we call a bar form, okay? It's a little bit of it's like a cluster of information. We've got note placement, velocity, and these shadings. We are essentially step sequencing 8th note clusters, okay? Why 8th notes? Most people step sequence in 16s. For us, 8th notes gives us a little bit more distance and distance between each note, or we can start playing and filling in clusters. So here I am infusing various clusters of notes into that sequence, and if we dial out, you can see that note, that bar form just got a little bit more complicated, right? Now on our push and our launch pad, we've been able to sort of mirror that same integration, and over here I'm able to very simply dial in by hitting some of these buttons, the various combinations, and cycle through what we call the beat forms, okay? Those are those little cluster things, right? So as we go a little farther, we talked about shading and color. Color is how we distribute our groove information, right? So being able to say dark, medium, and light are the three different shades. And if I hold my finger on here, and here, and here, dark, medium, and light, I'm highlighting the three different zones that will allow me to play with my groove and my velocity. So what we've been doing is MIDI mapping all of our parameters, and some of the fun ones are being able to map velocity. So as I start playing with only the dark, you can see in the software that we are only highlighting one section. The dark section, the medium section, or the light section. Again, with the shading, the various shading of the colors is associated with our various clusters of how we'll edit velocity and groove information, right? So I can very quickly dial in something a little more funky, head boppy, my hips are shaking, all right. As we keep going further, we have different objects that let us transform the information. One of them, my most favorite one at the moment, is called the Beatform Tumbler, and that allows me to dial through various permutations and suggestions per 8th note location, right? So over here on my push again, what we've got is our ability to dial up position 3, position 7, and I'm rolling through a pre-designed list of these choices. I can swap palettes, which are, again, in this software here, going to be our distribution of these molecules, micromolecules, and that's what lets me have a greater choice when tumbling through all of these options, okay? Now let's take a look under the hood here, okay? There's an object called the Beat Weaver, and it's broken into two sections, the bar form wheel and the beat form wheel. I'm going to zoom out just a little, and I want to show you guys. This is basically the logic of how we get our suggestions of what to give us in this bar form list on the first page we saw, okay? As I flip up and down between the tracks, you can see that there's various shadings that are being highlighted. Those are basically feeding the information of what's going to be suggested if you're using hi-hats, snares, kicks, all that, right? Now if I start tossing through all these different choices, if I stay within the shades, I'm going to be given some interesting permutations and ideas that are relative to each other, or I can go really freaky-deaky and just go blah 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 and then find something interesting. I can still substitute some different objects here and there, and I'm able to tumble through variations and permutations. Once I've got my placement nice, I'll be able to flip into my beatform wheel, and that's what's going to give me various clusters and substitute the clusters for each location. And again, coloring within the lines gives us a bit more safe options. Swing, or let's get freaky. Now if I take that freakiness back and I apply my same shaping functions here of my groove, I'll be able to find some fun stuff. And again, if I start cycling my beatform, that's liquid rhythm in a nutshell. The only thing we didn't show you is the ability to randomize. And all of that being seamless real-time communication between our clips and everything I'm doing in my editor, right? So as I change things here, I'll be editing various parameters all in real time.